710 ESPN. Coming up on Lakers Talk.
All right, so we got a schedule. How about that?
What a way to restart the NBA. Lakers versus Clippers in Orlando, July 30th.
This is what I'm talking about when the NBA just has an absolute pulse of what's going on and what its fans want. Lakers and the Clippers will be their first primetime game coming back. Are you kidding me?
What more can you ask for, Laker fans?
The Lakers and the Clippers will be teeing it off right to start things off on that first night that the NBA is back.
Lakers Talk is on the air, and it's right now.
All right, what's going on, Laker fans? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Got a little promo video there, and then boom. It's just like it's all business after that. Thank you for being here. We'll go for maybe about a half hour or so. We just got to kind of go with the flow tonight and see where it goes. As always, appreciate you guys doing this. So where are we live? We're live on YouTube. We're live on ESPN Los Angeles for Twitter, Periscope, Twitch. So we're on a few different networks. So wherever you're tuning in from, thank you for tuning in. Okay, we did not get the best of news yesterday. I know there's probably a lot of Los Angeles Laker fans out there disappointed about the news yesterday. Rajon Rondo out 6 to 8 weeks. So that's how I'm going to start off the show. So I'm going to, I'll read, obviously some of these comments on here and everything else, but I'm going to start off the show about Rajon Rondo. We got some other topics that we want to get into as well. So let's do this on Rajon Rondo. By the way, this is the second post game. No, this is the second Lakers Talk. We finished Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN. Now we do Lakers Talk right here. Okay, so my thoughts real quick on Rajon Rondo. This is the news. This is my thought process on it. This is what the Lakers are going to lose without Rajon. By the way, earlier today, head coach Frank Vogel talked a little bit about, what those losses are going to be. Okay, I got to interrupt real quick. Carlo, I'm hearing my feedback, so I'm just hearing myself talk. There's a way that we could take care of that. Okay, so Rondo, Lakers, it's so quick for Laker fans, I think, to say, okay, well, it's just Rajon Rondo. I mean, I have spent so much time listening to Laker fans not happy with the way Rajon Rondo has played this year. And I want to make sure that I spend some time talking about what the Lakers lose without Rajon, because I think it's been blown out of proportion of, Rajon isn't that good and he's not helping the Los Angeles Lakers. And listen, this isn't uncommon from a fan base to pick on a player. And I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that Rajon Rondo has been the best player for the Los Angeles Lakers and everything that he's done has been, you can't touch him. He's been amazing and he's been gold. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. But what I would say is this. I would say that Rajon Rondo 100% is a vet that you want come this postseason. He's a leader. He has incredible amount of experience that is useful for the Lakers. I mean, I don't think we could sit here and say to ourselves that that's not helpful or that the Lakers don't need it. They are losing one of the more respected leaders in the league. And I'm not saying on a night in, night out basis, Rajon Rondo has a stat line like he did back in the days where he would lead his team in assists and he was a great defender. I know those days are behind him, but I still think he is a respected leader. He's somebody that other teams understand. He's got incredible knowledge of the game. And for this Lakers team specifically, I think he's a nice fit. You guys remember when we started the season, it was KCP was getting a ton of heat from Laker fans. And I get it. I understand. He wasn't playing well. But then he reached the point where it's like, okay, you know what? He's productive on the basketball floor now. So a lot of Laker fans were okay with it. I think they ended up appreciating what he brought to the table. And he got, he looked like he was getting out of his own head. The moment KCP was no longer on the list for Laker fans, it's like everybody shifted to Rondo. Everyone just, there was blood in the water and everybody went after Rondo. the Lakers will miss Rondo in the 6 to 8 weeks. They will. I don't know if you guys saw that photo. I think it was last week that the Lakers put up on Twitter. The dude looked like he was 21 years old and he was chiseled. I mean, he looked like he was in incredible shape. We got graphics now. I mean, look at the way this guy looks. He looks ridiculous out there. So I think the Lakers will definitely miss his leadership. I think the Lakers will definitely miss another ball handler coming off the bench. So I'm not one that is, saying, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. No, I think the Lakers can use Rondo. I definitely do. By the way, he's also productive just on the sidelines. Rondo is one of those guys that definitely could be productive on the sidelines. He's going through some boxing drills right here. What's happening? All of a sudden we had Rondo. Next thing I thought, is Rondo going up? Is he going up against Canelo this weekend or something? This is what I'm going to say, some of the positives for not having Rondo. Let me say it the right way. It's going to give opportunity for other players. So this is the question that I think is going to be perfect for us to interact. And, obviously this is what this show is about, is interacting. One of the things that before I ask who you want to see get those Rondo minutes, before I do that, let me explain something on just like a timetable front. Here's where we are from a timetable perspective. Rondo's out 6 to 8 weeks. So what does that mean? Head coach Frank Vogel pretty much was saying on that Zoom call today, no, Rondo's coming back. We're going to get Rondo in the playoffs. So for someone like myself that does want to see Rondo at some point, I think that's going to happen. But this is basically what it means. What it means is this. August 18th is when the playoffs start. That will be about 5 weeks that Rondo's been out. September 1st is when the second round begins. That will be around 7 weeks that Rondo will have been out. So the good news with Rondo is he's going to miss training camp, unfortunately. He's going to miss those 8 preseason games, unfortunately. He may miss a round of the playoffs, unfortunately, maybe even a little bit more. But when the Lakers will need Rondo most, which is past that first round, sounds like Rondo is going to be there. Is it ideal? It's definitely not ideal. Is it something that, you wish this wasn't the case? I wish Avery Bradley was on this team. I wish Rondo was good to go, but that's not the case for the Lakers. And these are going to be some of the hurdles that the Lakers have to juggle. And by the way, that's what every NBA team is going to have to, kind of figure out some of this stuff. So this is just going to be, part of it. Okay. A couple people want a couple fist pumps. I got you guys. A couple fist pumps right there. Okay. So this is the question that I'll ask Laker fans. And I know there's a lot of comments on here, but the question I got for Laker fans out there, and this is where we can kind of start that dialogue. Who do you want to see get Rajon Rondo's minutes? Who do you want to see get those minutes? Because there's a lot of options there. Plenty of options there. Okay, so let me give my thought process on this real quick. Just FYI, I'm probably not going to throw KCP, and I'm probably not going to throw Alex Caruso in there to take Rondo's minutes. And I'll tell you why. I don't think they're going to need any more minutes. Like, I think they're already getting good minutes for the Lakers, and they're going to be making up for Avery Bradley. So if you're worried about Caruso getting 25 minutes a game, don't worry. Caruso's going to get 25 minutes a game. Like, I honestly don't think you have to think twice about that. Caruso's going to be in there. I think KCP will most likely be starting, which that's one thing head coach Frank Vogel alluded to a little bit earlier today. He talked about that where when KCP was in for Avery Bradley in the past, earlier this season, that KCP did a great job. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So here are the players that I think are going to have opportunities to get Rondo's minutes for now. Let me throw one name out there real quick that I think would be an interesting name. And I don't know how Laker fans feel about this guy, but I'll tell you how I feel. I kind of want to see some Quinn Cook. I'd like to see some Quinn Cook action. Part of my thought process is I feel like Quinn Cook could be one of those guys for the Lakers who, by the way, he's got some experience. Last year in the postseason, he was playing some big-time minutes. He had opportunities because a lot of injuries that the Golden State Warriors had. He was playing in the finals. He had some legit opportunities. So I'm curious to see what Quinn Cook could do for the Lakers. I think he's one of those players that he'll try and make the right play. By the way, from a shooting perspective, he's shooting about 44% from the field, maybe 38% from the three, right around there. Not maybe. I looked up the stats before. I knew it on the dot, so I don't even know why I'm saying maybe. 44%, 38% from the 3-point line. And I think he could be this kind of good spark off the bench, right? Energy guy, 27 years old, will come in, give you as much effort as you possibly can. So I'm curious about Quinn Cook. All right, let me see if there's some people that agree with me on the Quinn Cook front. Let me find people that support my argument before I find people that demolish my argument. Ryan Romero says Quinn Cook. Okay. Aniket Mohan says, we need a ball handler for the second unit. So ideally, you'd have Caruso and Waiters in the second unit, one of them handling the ball. Okay. I'm going to get into Dion Waiters in just a second. I'll get into Dion Waiters for a second. Okay, so I'm trying to make a case that I think Quinn Cook can give the Lakers some good minutes. All right, that's one player. The second player that I had in mind is a player that a lot of Laker fans are already starting to highlight. Dion Waiters. Dion Waiters is interesting to me because Dion Waiters has the most upside of any of these players, not any of them, but the deeper you go into the bench, Dion Waiters can be a wild card. Dion Waiters could be a lotto ticket that you hit, or Dion Waiters can be like, yeah, he's done nothing for us. That's kind of how I look at Dion Waiters. But look, he's got some strengths too. First of all, the dude has to be thinking in his mind, what an opportunity. Not only am I getting another crack at it in the league, I'm on the Los Angeles Lakers, and there are two players that had a lot of minutes for the Lakers between Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo, and for unforeseen circumstances are both not going to be there. Avery Bradley for the whole playoffs, and obviously Rajon Rondo for 6 to 8 weeks. Dion Waiters, the dude can play. I mean, he's a good basketball player. It's up here that you're wondering. Does he want it? By the way, it's the heart as well. Does he want it? Does he want to take advantage of this opportunity? He didn't do it in Miami. In Miami, I think he played 3 games. And I think had 3 suspensions this year. So obviously it wasn't happening for him in Miami. But Dion Waiters, to me, that's an interesting project right there. He's got the ability to get buckets right off the bench. He has the ability to be an asset off the bench for the Lakers. Those are the 2 players that I think can fill in the role of Rondo in this time off. Quinn Cook and Dion Waiters. I told you KCP and Caruso, I'm not putting them in the conversation because they're already going to be getting minutes. So if Rondo was there or he wasn't there, I think those 2 would have got a lot of minutes anyways. But this is actually a good point. Caruso and Waiters in the second unit. I know there's another player. Ooh, everybody wants me on this one. I'm going to get into that one for a second. So here's the reason why I'm not saying J.R. Smith. Let me just actually see. Is there anybody else? Aniket thinks Quinn Cook is more of a wild card right now. ESPN Los Angeles says Dion Waiters still hasn't played a minute in a Lakers jersey, which is true. The only question I have, ESPN Los Angeles, I thought we were on the same team. Why you got to come against me on some of the arguments that I'm making? You know what I mean? Like, aren't we supposed to do this together? No, it's a good point, Carlo. That's a good point that he hasn't played a minute yet with the Lakers. So there's a lot of wild card questions about that. Okay, so who's the player that's all over? His name is all over this. J.R. Smith is everywhere. So I'm looking. Paul Paranello on YouTube says J.R. Smith. Milan fan on Periscope says J.R. Smith. Rambo Asil says, I'm still not taking J.R. Smith seriously. Okay. Paul Paranello says, y'all missing the boat on J.R. Smith. All right. So O.C. O'Neal, maybe J.R. Smith. Let me talk J.R. Smith for a quick second. I do think the Lakers are going to be using J.R. Smith, but I think they're going to use him more with LeBron. Dion Waiters, Quinn Cook, those are guys that can probably come in and give you some backcourt minutes. And then don't worry about Caruso and KCP because they're gonna get a ton of minutes. All right. So I was about to finish that topic anyways, and I do want to take some roll call. So I'm a very keen on my roll call. When I take roll call, it all gets stored in here, which isn't much. But let's see where you guys are tuning in from. I'll give shout outs. Just let me know where you're tuning from. So as we always do it, we'll take some roll call right now. By the way, anybody see the LeBron James and Anthony Davis video that went out, I think, on NBA a little bit earlier today? And then we got Carlo cutting that up and throwing it up on Twitter and I think on Instagram. So watch this video. This video going on right now. Got a little LeBron action, got a little AD action. Doesn't that just make you feel incredibly good that we're that close to getting sports back? Look at AD, do some work on Phil Handy. Look at that little fadeaway right there, free throw line extended. LBJ. First of all, it looks weird that they're playing in a convention center because they're literally playing in a convention center. Looks like a ballroom where they're going to have a wedding afterwards, but this is the world that we're living in right now. But with all that said, how nice is it to just see these players, just see them again? It's amazing to finally get to see these guys again, finally get to see them playing. But these aren't just regular players. We're talking about LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Okay, some shout outs here. David Meister from Vegas. Appreciate you tuning in. Oceanside. Tampa, thank you for tuning in. Somebody put Milky Way. We got a comedian on here. Comedian on YouTube. I forgot we have comedians here. El Sereno, thank you for tuning in. Singapore. Colombia in the house. Simi Valley. New York City. Thousand Oaks. Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you for being a part of the show. Irvine, San Jose. Phil says number 8, number 24 forever. Damn right. Maryland, thank you for tuning in. Georgia, Chino Hills, Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas. JR from Belize, thank you for being a part of the show. Anaheim, California, Compton, Omaha. I mean, people from everywhere. So thank you for doing this as always. You know, I got this Louisville, Texas, Stockton, California, Atlanta. I can't keep up with everybody. Georgia, Seattle. Somebody's saying they're tuning in from the bubble. Don't you lie to me, all right? Don't you lie to me. You better get quarantined. I had 3 people on today who were all inside of the bubble on Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN. Pasadena, thank you for being a part of the show. Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, thank you for being part of the show. How amazing is that? 3 people from inside the bubble today. Let me just talk a little bit about their bubble experience. And then also, can players stop talking about how their food isn't living up to par, please? I pray to God that they stop doing that. Every picture I'm looking with the food, it just makes me hungry. I'm like, this looks great. This looks delicious. Plus, it's a bad look. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to know that your food doesn't live up to the par that you're accustomed to, where, there's many other people right now that, they're in tough spots. They're in a tough position. So now is not the time to be unappreciative, which, by the way, there were some players that, Enes Kanter, John Morant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, all of them basically said, we're good. Nobody's complaining. So life inside this bubble, damn, this thing is serious. Joe Varden I had on from The Athletic. You can feel free to put how much Heard Markeith isn't in the bubble. I have no idea. And coach will, every time is basically asked, basically says, yeah, this is an NBA rule. We don't let out any information. So I have no idea who's in there and who's not. But Joe Varden, guess how much money the NBA is putting into this bubble? Throw out a number. How much money do you think it's costing for the NBA to put together this bubble? SC11, by the way, so there's people starving out in the world. I don't want to hear millionaire athletes complaining about food. That's my only point. When you're complaining about food and your amenities and what it looks like, you got to be mindful of just the climate that this country is going through and the world is going through. You have to be mindful and pay attention to the timing and who your audience is. There is record numbers of people who don't have jobs right now, people struggling to, obviously make it day to day. They don't care that you don't like your food, that it doesn't live up to your par. They don't care that, the room that you're living in isn't what you're accustomed to. So I hope the NBA and some of these players learn from those experiences, because it just doesn't look good. And by the way, I do think some of these people are joking around, like they're trying to take it lightly, which I get that part. And just read the room. That's all I'll say, is read the room. Okay, so I'm asking people, guess how much the NBA is spending on this bubble. I got O.C. O'Neal that guesses $200 million. Rudy Lopez guesses $150 million. Prof. Joe says $30 million. Okay. I know there's a lot of 150s because that's what Windhorse put out. So Joe Varden said that number is actually closer to $170 million is what the NBA is, the amount of money NBA is putting out to try and make this happen. What's the saying? To make money, you got to spend money. Well, the NBA is definitely investing in Orlando. And the way Mark Medina explained it, the way Joe Varden explained it, they were both on LakersTalk today. And, we're talking, and they're in their hotel rooms. Tell me about the experience. What's it like? This thing sounds like it's no freaking joke. So when you have a player from, who was it, from the Houston Rockets? Who was it? Rashawn Holmes was from the Sacramento Kings, going to pick up food delivery. Probably not a good idea. You have Bruno Caboclo of the Rockets, unintentionally left the bubble. Probably not a good idea. And I say that because all it takes is one mistake by one player, and that could be a wrap for the NBA. And that $150 or $170 million that they're spending on trying to make this thing happen, it can all go to waste. So it is insane, the measures that they're doing. They explained to me that Disney bracelet that basically is kind of tracking where you are and everything else. That's how you get into your hotel room as well. These people are got to be quarantined in their hotel room, the media, for 7 straight days. They can't even go outside for some fresh air. Because I asked them, like, well, you can go outside and get fresh air. They're like, no, you can't. You have to stay in your room quarantined. So they are, let's just say, taking every precaution possible to make this thing work in the NBA, and I don't blame them for doing it. All right, let me read a couple of these comments here. Somebody asked how much they're spending on certain things. Yep, Westbrook tested positive COVID-19. God bless him, definitely. 2 players tested positive inside the bubble already. That's Garrett Griffin. Well, let me say this about that, and we'll start wrapping up here in just a second. What I'll tell you is this. Those 2 players that tested positive out of, I think, 322 players, they now have to quarantine longer. I think they're actually now out of the bubble until they come back with X amount of negative tests, and then they can come back in. Complicated, 100%. Worth all the effort? It is, because how else are you supposed to do this? You got to try at some point. By the way, real quick, all this room service orders, what's your top room service order? I mean, I'm seeing all this room service. I'm seeing that the food's just coming to their room, and all I'm saying to myself is, I want to order room service. So today on LakersTalk, we're sitting there talking top 5 room service orders. Correct me if I'm wrong here. What am I missing here on my top 5 room service orders? I got a hamburger cheeseburger on there. Okay. I don't know how you could not have that on there. I got pizza on there. I got wings on my top 5 list. I put pancakes on there. You got to have some breakfast, right? There's some pancakes on there. And then I top it off with ice cream. You got to have some kind of a dessert. Am I missing something on these? I think that's a very fair list. And if you have something outside of that list, I don't know what to tell you. You just gotta make, that's a good one. Turkey Club, room service all the way, never gets old. That's a good one. Not gonna lie, that's a good one. But every time I do see it, I'm just looking at that. Somebody's got cheesecake on there. Okay, that's a good one as well. That's when you know we're wrapping up the show, because that means I'm starving. That means dinner. I gotta have dinner. Fries with sauce on the side. Somebody else says a sandwich, lasagna, pasta. Damn, we got. Shirzad says kale all day. Kale all day. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you. Next Monday, we'll do it again. Do you guys realize we're 2.5 weeks away from the NBA restarting? 2.5 weeks away, and the NBA is going to be back. I got steak on here. People are getting pasta. Everybody's grocery store's already closed. I can't jump on that. 2.5 weeks, we'll get basketball back. By the way, just a quick reminder here. Thank you very much to vsliquor.com. vsliquor.com. Anytime you're in need for any of your liquor, wine, vodka, soda, or vodka, tequila, bourbon, whatever you're a fan of, vsliquor.com. So thank you to their partnership. If you're ever looking for reliable alcohol delivery, go to vsliquor.com. ESPN Los Angeles, appreciate you guys streaming this. All the Laker fans out there, we're getting closer, 2.5 weeks away. Thank you for tuning in. Hit me on Twitter, hit me on Instagram anytime, at ESPN or at Alan Sliwa, and then obviously follow the station at ESPN Los Angeles. One more quick plug. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, I'm on with Mason Island for Crosstalk, and then we obviously go to my show from 6:30 to 9. All right, appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good rest of your night.